Welcome to Remainders, where we talk about all the movies that remain. My name is Patrick, and today we're going to be talking about the 1987 movie Barfly. Excited for this one. Part of Mickey Rourke double feature, I think, is the direction we're going to be going. Check out a Brando-esque actor making his way. Darren, how's it going, bud?
Going good, except for the fact that from every angle, all of my friends and family and people I don't even know are pissed off at me for not seeing the movie Obsession at this point.
Okay, well, I took a left turn really fast. I'm excited here. So we're already off on a tangent. I saw the other indie movie, horror movie this weekend, Backrooms, but I did not see Obsession. So,
oh, okay. Well, then we're both in the same boat, and we don't have to have any spoilers for each other. But I will tell you, I need to see it soon before all of my friends like literally show up at my door, ready to kill me, because apparently it's that good.
All right, I didn't expect to go into this direction. I got no comment on Obsession. I've seen reactions about it, but and which is intriguing me to check it out. But yeah, it's.
Well, I got to keep you on your toes.
It seems to be a loaded subject for this.
I was going to say I got to keep you on your toes because you usually see the movies before me. This time it doesn't seem like that is the case, and yeah, it's all the buzz. It's cool. Like I've seen a lot of things about the film, not trying to get any spoilers, but saying that people are packing the theaters for it. And hey, on this podcast, we're all about that. So if there's a film that is that good, that's getting people excited about film and going to the theater, I'm all for it. And I will be there at some point when I have the time. But yeah, not to go on a tangent. We're talking about Barfly today. And
I know it did spank. I know it did spank Star Wars. That's we'll leave it at that. And
okay, the Mandalorian thing, huh?
The changing of the old guards and Star Wars is dying. So let's make a move for some YouTubers to direct some horror movies. So
I was gonna say maybe you would be thinking that this is a Sean Baker maybe did the movie or something like that, or the guy who did the Terrifier or something. But yeah, I digress. Thanks for letting me just vent a little bit about people hating on me about Obsession, and let's talk about Barfly. Potentially, not potentially, the booziest movie we've covered past Trees Lounge, I'd say.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that this is probably the booziest movie with the most amount of scumbags.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of scumbags in this, but that's maybe rivaling Near Dark, right?
Near Dark has some endearing characters. They had the scumbag group there for sure, but in this movie, everybody seems to be just the epitome of garbage and fighting each other physically and metaphorically. So I think this one takes the cake. So
I'll tell you, I've heard about this movie a long time, but I know for most people out there, and probably for you specifically, Patrick, this movie must really appeal to people who are Bukowski fans. I know you're a writer yourself, and I'm sure you're a fan of
recovering writers.
Yeah, well, and it's maybe like in the punk rock world, everybody seems to love Bukowski. I'm not necessarily an avid reader or writer myself. I mean, I love to read and write, but I think for people like you who definitely read all the time, this movie would have appealed to you, just because he wrote the book.
I mean, I definitely went through a Bukowski phase in my 20s, as a lot of people do. And yeah, I mean, he is a great writer. His drunk persona seems to be, it seems to take over. And his writing was way more than that, but the alcohol aspect of it just seems to be
well, we love a drunk.
The main takeaway. Yeah, I'm just saying his writing was always a little bit more deep than that, but the takeaway was that. So, but yeah, I mean, I love his novels, Post Office, Ham on Rye, Women, and then the novel that he wrote about making this movie, which, spoiler alert, he was not a huge fan of his experience with making a movie in Hollywood. So his novel titled Hollywood was all about that. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely want to uncover a lot of this stuff because I don't know a ton. Clearly it's a film that is loved by, I guess you could say it's a little indie, I guess, in nature, even though Faye Dunaway, which I believe this is really Faye Dunaway's movie for me. I'm really in love with her as an actress, especially in this film. I didn't expect, because I hadn't seen this movie, so I'll just say I had heard, I have a friend of mine who was I was in a band with, loved Bukowski, and we talk about Barfly all the time. And I had always had it on my list to see, and I had never seen it. But I will like say that I was very surprised when I saw Faye Dunaway was, the female lead in it, and how great she was. Like I said, we love a drunk. I mean, we just do. We love a character, but we also love a drunk, and like that goes hand in hand. And I think that's why maybe people's takeaways of Bukowski is that like you just think of him as this like kind of swashbuckling drunk, and even if he was more than that, you just like to think of it that way. There's something that you romanticize about it.
Well, I mean, and that's a good question to ask. It's like, how much is the romanticization of it valid? I mean, because there's nothing really to romanticize about it, but it is the self-destructive nature of humans to have that be appealing, especially in a character in a story that you're watching. So,
well, I mean, you would say probably you don't realize how destructive it is until maybe like, late 20s, because most people are just partying and having fun, but then it becomes something that isn't so romantic, and it becomes more of a problem, of course. And that's, I don't know, I mean, it's all subjective, of course, but like in books, in literature, in movies, when you see someone drinking, it's like, oh, that's cool. And then if they're smoking, it's even cooler, right?
I mean, yes, that I fully agree. It's always been glamorous for sure. So, that's just kind of a vibe in the zeitgeist, and that's the thing about Chiaski is his character has never shied away from the self-destructive aspect of it. So,
well, give us a little rundown of Barfly in general. If you've not seen this film, I don't know, maybe it's more of a Patrick film where it's like there really isn't too much of a plot. It's just kind of a story about a guy who's drunk a lot.
No, there's no plot to this movie, and there's no plot to really any of Bukowski's writing styles, and it was all existentialism. This movie is essentially Henry Chiaski, which is Bukowski's alter ego through all of his novels, living, dying, and drinking in Los Angeles. He meets Wanda, they have a fling, and it's essentially a series of mishaps, one to the next, of his life and the self-destruction that goes into it. Very light on plot, and that's kind of the point of the movie, and that's kind of what I take away from it. This is actually one that I only saw for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago. It's kind of stuck with me since then, largely because of Mickey Rourke's performance also. So that's the other thing.
I mean, of course, Mickey Rourke is incredible. Not to say that at the beginning, but I just was so blown away by Faye Dunaway that I skipped it.
Well, what do you think of Faye Dunaway first?
I love the fact that like there is no, when you first meet her, there is no like caution about the Mickey Rourke character talking to her, which he's clearly a drunk, which he's clearly in trouble in his life. He's just hanging out in a bar. And also one of the things that I love is early on, you notice that like when the door opens to the bar that they're in, like the light shines on them and it's almost like they're a vampire. So like, like it's almost, you know what I mean? It's like the light comes in and it's like, get it out, So it really adds to the seediness of it all. But yeah, again, you meet her for the first time and you're like, oh, she looks like she's like, just this woman that's like having a drink, happens to be in the wrong place, wrong time. She doesn't necessarily look like she's a drunk, but because she's pretty and she's definitely like seems to have her faculties together. She's not like falling on the bar. And she's
still pretty for being kind of a scummy character. Maybe that's the point, right? That's the way Faye pulls it off. Is really incredible.
And they always, of course, like she's the one girl in the bar that everyone's like, oh, like who is that? And so when you see her though, kind of immediately be like, okay, you can buy me a drink, no problem. And then it's like, well, I'm out of money. Okay, well, like I got this guy who likes me and is going to let me like buy booze across the store. Let's go back to my place. And at some point she says something along the lines of like, if somebody offers me a whiskey, like I'm going to go, like I'm going to take it. And then you're kind of like, holy shit, like this. And then you kind of think about like, well, why is this person in this position in their life in the first place? Is it just the booze or is it that they've had something in their life that made them not care about life? There's a lot going on with those characters but you don't get a lot either, throughout the movie. It's just kind of, it is very surface drunk. They don't go into their stories of why they're that way.
I was going to say, like, I mean, everything you just kind of detailed right there is more than what I got out of it, and you're definitely finding it underneath the characters without even seeing it on the surface. So
Yeah, like they never talk about it verbally, so you have to make up your own opinion about where these people's lives. And that,
yeah,
and you know,
and I like that you're filling in the gaps. That's good.
well, I mean, is that how you experienced it, or are you just looking at it super serious? Like it's just like, let's soak this whole movie in booze, and that's all I need.
I mean, I honestly view this movie more as like a comedy, as like a ridiculous like screwball comedy than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, when you take a step back, I mean, it does. I feel like Bukowski's stuff. That's the thing. It's like a lot of stuff seems to be more serious than it is, and people's perception of it. But it really is just the thinly veiled absurdism of life. And in this movie specifically, and again, this isn't a Bukowski movie. It's like it's directed by Barton Shorter and starring Mickey Rourke, and so it is different from what that vibe he was going for. In this movie, it's closer to like a screwball comedy. That's kind of how I view it from start to finish.
No, I could see that, but then classically, like as you get drunk, it's more of a screwball comedy, right? Like you're fighting all the time, and of course, those are dangerous parts of drinking, but in this, it's more entertaining. It's like every time he goes to the bar, he's going to fight the bartender outside, you know.
Eddie represents everything that Henry hates about life. So for whatever reason, they just are always fighting. And,
and any Frank Stallone fans out here
I was going to say, if you notice the Eddie played by the great Frank Stallone, which I really only knew existed because of Norm Macdonald and his jokes from Weekend Update in the 90s.
Like explain.
I don't think I've ever even seen Frank Stallone in a movie outside of this, and I only saw this one a couple of years later. But it was a running joke from Norm Macdonald on his Weekend Update, where whenever he would deliver like something terrible going on in the news, or one that he would say like certain like earthquake or something, and the cause of it was, you guessed it, Frank Stallone. It would just cut to a picture of Frank Stallone. The one I remember the most was Entertainment Weekly released their power issue of the 100 most influential people in America in the entertainment business. And I forget who he said number one was. And then he goes, and number two, you guessed it, Frank Stallone. And it would always just be the same picture that he gave to him. So that was my introduction to Frank Stallone's existence in the 90s. And I did see a clip. Norm went on to go say that he stopped doing Frank Stallone jokes because when Sylvester hosted in the 90s, he was asking like, well, man, why are you always making fun of my brother? And he gave him a little background of his story. He was like, after hearing that, I leaned off the Frank Stallone because it wasn't even really making fun of him. That was just his absurdist humor of
any comedian that like kind of goes after you and like makes you a joke can feel like you're being bullied. Totally. But I will say like that he looks great, and he does look like a pretty tough guy. But so does Mickey Rourke. Great
mustache in this from Eddie. So which I was going to say I haven't complimented yours, like although you have a little bit of goatee, but
I have a bit of a beard stash going, and I get that from you when you were doing that, which is I think your best look. You're at your most. Kurt
I do
Russell
like the beard
when you
stash.
Get that going on, But go ahead.
I just don't keep it because it grows back so fast and just dripping with testosterone. Just shit.
I know. Right now we could be watching
dude.
Pat from 2022. Like that's like that. This is like the beard length that you started this podcast with. I feel like
it just had a trim at that moment. It is getting warm out, so I might go back to the beard stash soon. So,
well, we'll see. Don't go crazy on us. But the mustache here, and when do you think this was filmed? I didn't actually catch that.
I mean, it was soon 86. It was released in 87. So
okay,
they tried to make it for years. Like it was like an 8-year thing to get this made. And again, like Bukowski talks about like how much of a ridiculous. Just how much he hated the whole process from start to finish. Bukowski originally wanted Sean Penn to play the Henry Chiaski lead role and have it be directed by Dennis Hopper. So in its long, winding way, with the way Hollywood works out, there's always the what ifs, and it didn't work out that way. And so it was a long production, but I'm assuming it was filmed in 86.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad casting, choice for either of those choices. That would have been pretty cool. But also, I had heard that there's another film, which I'm sure you know about, that has Matt Dillon involved, right? That kind of is around the same vibe.
Yeah, that's Factotum.
Back to
I remember seeing that years ago. I remember just catching it on HBO, probably like in the 2000s, and not even know it was maybe around the time when I was reading Bukowski. And I was like, I didn't even know this movie existed. I remember Fisher Stevens is in it. Can't remember if I liked it or not, but I do know it exists with Matt Dillon playing Bukowski, Chiaski, actually. So.
And that's the thing is like I think that movie was like a long time coming too. Who knows why? You know, maybe the publishing like the rights and all that kind of stuff has something to do with it. But yeah, everyone I know that has seen this film really loves it. And of course, we're talking about Mickey Rourke, who is just a character in his own life anyway, for a myriad of reasons. I know you don't keep up with people's personal lives so much, Pat, but
I was going to say it's my goal. So we are kind of doing a double feature. We're going to cover The Wrestler next week and maybe do some comparison here. But it is my goal to catch up on what his personal life has been looking like, for better or worse. Because I couldn't tell you many details.
Well, I could. Well,
you could. Okay,
because
nice.
because I log into TMZ, the best news source in all of history, every morning. Nice. I get the news straight from the source, and I can tell you. But before we get to that, I would just say that he, in his early career in the 80s, was on fire. People absolutely loved him, and again, being a character himself, he's kind of this rough guy, and had this clearly tough guy attitude. That was sort of a loner, but also a Hollywood kind of hunk. And now he's playing these roles that are just, he's completely drunk and disorderly in this film, which I think makes him even cooler in the 80s. And then kind of goes through a little bit of like a issue with boxing where his face gets kind of like bashed up and then loses his good lead role looks, which kind of gives him some different roles, let's say, and then it culminates in sort of like hero roles, like where he is now like sought after again. His like resurgence in Hollywood, give or take, would be probably like through the 2000s, maybe 2000s through 2010, and a little bit further, where all of a sudden he's in demand again. Crazy kind of career that he's had. And if you want to know what he's been up to lately, he was, from what I've read, he got evicted from his house.
Oh, shit.
And he was paying rent in. And again, this is like the kind of headlines. Renting for a long time here in Los Angeles, gets evicted from his place. And they have pictures of him moving out with all the boxes, and his assistant is moving him out. And he's like this famous like dog lover. He's got all these chihuahuas and stuff like that. And it's just hilarious. This huge guy, and he just loves these like little dogs, and he's always carrying them in his arms and stuff. People that I know in LA would see him out all the time smoking cigarettes. I think at one point like he drove like those little like Mini Coopers, which is like, it's so eccentric and weird and cool. Always wearing like cowboy boots and this hat, and he's had so many surgeries on his face that he's just like totally different than what you've seen in movies like Barfly or Angel Heart or any of those films that he was in. I think Angel Heart was one of his. Yeah. And so now I believe he's in his 70s, maybe 80s, getting evicted. And so somebody online goes through and puts up a GoFundMe for Mickey Rourke in his name. And it's like, oh, it's sanctioned by him, and let's help him save his home and get him a place to live. And then a day or two later, he goes online and he's got his like Instagram clip where he's like, don't donate any, like it was like reached like, I don't know, insurmountable amounts of money of people trying to help Mickey Rourke get his like home back. Good. And then he's like, do not like put any money into this. I think I know who put it up. It's a former friend of mine, and I would never ask anybody for any help. Everybody who knows me knows that all I want to do is just give me a job, keep the acting jobs coming or something like that. So like it became like a sham, like, and everybody's like, oh my God, I just donated all this money to Mickey Rourke getting his house back, and I have no clue where it's going. That's the latest.
That's the end. That's the update.
The end.
Oh yeah. Man.
After that, okay. TMZ stopped reporting on it. So.
All right. Well, that's the tawdry updates from TMZ on the great Mickey Rourke, I guess. All right. Well, maybe I'll have to do a little bit more digging and find out for myself.
But back in '86,
that sounds crazy.
He's making this film on top of the world. And the guy's a great actor. There is no
I mean,
doubt about it.
It seems like he was kind of seen as a young Brando.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But, I mean, obviously, I wasn't watching his movies back then, but he was kind of pegged as the next Brando. And I don't know. I think that fits. I think that definitely fits in terms of like quality,
Macho.
but then also, and then the aura and the overall kind of vibe that he brings, especially as he aged. I don't know. I like seeing it through that lens, for better or worse. So, but what movie do you think of, or movies like do you think first when you think of Mickey Rourke?
Definitely The Wrestler.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
I mean, but Sin City's in there too, and these are like more, I'd say,
it's more age stuff. Yeah. If we were watching them in the 80s, probably like I know Pope of Greenwich Village is very popular among people, and also Johnny Handsome, Harley Davidson, and the Marlboro Man. Not necessarily, whether or not those are kind of his more popular ones, but I know those were like roles that like caught a lot of people's attention. Probably what they think of first too. So.
Yeah, and again, those we just said it. The best is that they were of our era, especially the notoriety of Darren Aronofsky kind of being this, independent in a way film director at that time in 2008, and then kind of hitting the slam dunk with The Wrestler, and Mickey Rourke basically kind of playing himself, right? He's playing this guy who's like this former kind of like badass in the wrestling circuit, and is a little bit more like needs to make a comeback kind of thing.
Well, we'll definitely get to similarities as we talk about kind of his trajectory. But that's why I thought it was like a good one to start here with Barfly, because it does capture a lot of the early stuff that you see in The Wrestler, for better or worse, and kind of mirrors the trajectory of the character. So like the primary goal of this character is freedom and having an outsider artistic lifestyle, where you kind of get the opposite with The Wrestler. So we'll get to that later. But like, what do you think of how much like that kind of like represents like what you see on screen in terms of the character itself, like freedom,
his life?
Chiaski in this movie itself, like not Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, there's the whole angle of the fact that he's a writer, and a very good one, seemingly, that maybe only comes from being the way he is, and makes him an attractive person to a lot of people. And that's kind of, again, the tortured artist, classic trope. This guy is clearly a drunk and not worth saving in some people's minds, likely. But there's people that are like, holy shit, but he's this gifted artist. And he is super oblivious to that. He just writes when he,
That is what I kind of liked about it. It's like he sends his stories to the publisher, but he has no idea or understanding of whether or not they're even getting there or even caring if he hears back, which he eventually does from one of the characters that shows up. But there does seem to be a complete obliviousness to it. And I think that does kind of capture the, again, this is just an extension of Bukowski with this character. It's like the idea that he's writing purely just for the art of it, where that wasn't really the case with Bukowski. He was trying to be successful, whereas the alter ego is like distilling it down to like the outsider artistic lifestyle, which is like writing and having as much freedom as possible outside of that.
Well, I think that's like such a good thing to just to talk about as a general, artists and in the age of AI and everything. I think a lot more of that, and for any art form, music and everything like that, is like you're really kind of looking for the originality nowadays. And I think that goes with this, is that the person who's making something solely for the reason because that's like who they are and what they do, not necessarily for any kind of monetary gain or whatever. It's just like it's who they are, it's what they're gifted at, and they're very original at it, so it's kind of funny. You see this character here who's a drunk and everything, and maybe he doesn't have any clue that he's really good, but that's the point. Is that's like what makes you good, is when you don't have this awareness, that you're not sitting behind a screen and getting all these hearts by people liking your shit, and that's what the measure is of you being a great artist. It's really like he could give a shit. He's going to every bar. He just wants some money for all. And like that scene's so great when he finally does have. Somehow money is always prevalent in this film for these like drunkards who don't have jobs and can't pay their rent, but somehow he's always got money to spend on the booze. And then at times he has even more so he can spend it with his friends. And that's like such a great kind of charming part of this movie too, is like as soon as the money comes and flows, he's like, for all my friends, you know, and he's got everybody getting a shot and Frank Stallone losing his fucking mind about it, you know?
Well, I mean, he's living in the shittiest of shitty flop houses. So I'd imagine the rent, even though he's behind on it, is pretty low. And you could probably still do that in LA in the late 80s, but
I mean, maybe
probably not
also
now,
like
so.
he has no job. So it's like he says at some point, I think he's like, I found like some check, like in the like, you know, there's always some avenue to get money just to get you to that next bar, or he knows the people at the bar enough that feel bad for him and will give him the free shot, you know. And there's a couple bars, but the main bar that he goes to is called the Golden. Do you remember?
Golden Horn.
Golden Horn. Yeah. I looked that up actually because of the Los Angeles is a character in this film, I'd say.
Yeah, totally.
Which is super weird when there's that corn thing. I'm like, where is that? You know, like there's corn growing in Los Angeles somewhere. But then, it looks like that place that was that bar is now like another institution. But I think it was a bar at the time that they did it. And also, you know, like seeing kind of like Sunset Boulevard in it when he's like pulling up, and the Marlboro Man, like, you know, that classic Marlboro Man billboard and stuff like that. Billboard? It's cool. Like,
I noticed the one right next to it.
What was it?
Spaceballs.
Oh, kick ass. Yeah. And I love that time capsule stuff, you know, because it was like pretty real that we were filming during that time.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's really, I mean, half the movie's inside of a bar or in a shitty apartment or alley outside of a bar, but all the scenes that they are outside and driving around, you do get a good glimpse of LA. And like we talked about recently, it's just like movies, and the best way to kind of become documentaries if they kind of show a little bit of real life. It just becomes like a time capsule inevitably.
Well, we can get into this later, but that's something I'm really loving about rewatching Tales from the Crypt is there's a lot of great like Los Angeles in those, even though, you know, you wouldn't know it at all watching that as a kid. You're really just watching it under the veil of like this like kind of creepy tale that you know, but like clearly everything was filmed in Los Angeles.
I saw somebody pointing out an episode that they were surprised, they were shocked at how gory it was, and that it was aired originally on HBO. It was a Tales from the Crypt episode, and how gory it was, and it was just a picture of Steve Buscemi. So it's obviously a Steve Buscemi episode with an intense amount of gore, and I'm like, I definitely have to watch this episode.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't think I've come across it yet. I just got through season 1 and season 2 last night. Like season 2,
plenty to go.
And I know there it goes through I think 5 seasons or something.
I think 7.
Oh, maybe 7.
I thought it might be. Yeah.
But I think I told you last time we talked. The second season was definitely ordered more episodes. The first season was only like 8 or 7 or something, maybe even 6. But then the second one is like 19, 18 episodes or something. So yeah, there's a lot more to go. And it's like the biggest endorphin hit at the middle of the night when I'm like done with work and stuff. I can't get enough of it. I'm loving it so much.
Again, we mentioned the coziest opening intro to a show ever. So
yeah. And never skip it. Never.
Okay, so freedom versus success. Chiaski always vying for freedom at the expense of success, I guess is the best way to put it. And I mean, whether or not he's successful in life, he's obviously avoiding the American dream at all costs because he sees it as a trap and fully shackled. But at what expense is the freedom coming at that success? So, I mean, that's what I've always loved about kind of Bukowski's style. Is that like, I mean, yeah, he has nothing, but like, how free is that really? Whether that's like in your mind or like actual in practicality. So,
right, like again, the classic like what you own owns you kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that is true.
So if you're just like,
I mean, you do. He does get to that. So Tully. I think that's right. Tully is the publisher that tracks him down. Jack Nance, David Lynch's guy from Eraserhead and Twin Peaks. He's the detective hunting him down. Turns out that's for Tully, the publisher, to find him because they published one of his articles. So they go back to her super nice place, and he basically is saying, like, this is just he's looking around. It's like, how can you live like this? This feels like a golden like jail or something like that. And so it's like, and that's within the first couple hours of like even being there. They're just getting drunk together, but like he's so avoidant of any type of physical success, you know, in any type of physical items that he has, that like whether or not he's right or wrong, it almost seems like he's just conditioned to view it as a jail, you know, having those things. So
I love that. That's like a through line too. Just you know, again, not kind of said, it's just kind of like implied from this character that he can just put on the same clothes he wore yesterday, hobble down to the bar, and have a great life, you know. But like it starts to get to that point where like you can see that she's starting to get sick and stuff like that. There are
that's the thing. It's like we talk about romanticizing that, but that's fun for 5 minutes, and then it'd probably be fucking horrible.
Well, of course. And you know, like the stuff that they're drinking too is not necessarily just beer, you know. It's like whiskey, like scotch and water they're ordering. And also love that scene where she's like, the angel came to me, and of course it's like the Pegasus sign outside.
Yeah.
Oh man, the delusions and like the hallucinations you're having just from being like kind of poisoned by alcohol. It's like those are great little moments.
I have it right here. She sees God, but is just drunk. That's all it says.
Yeah, full stop. She sees God, but really she's just drunk.
Right.
But maybe sometimes people would think that you only see God when you're drunk. So, you know, who knows?
I was going to say that's kind of the beauty of it. It's
right.
What if? See.
Usually too, when we do these episodes, I see you with like a brewski in hand. I don't know if you have one right now. Yeah, well, I feel like I should have. I should have went to the damn grocery store and got something for this booze infused episode.
I've been watching the Cubs lately, so I need a drink. So
yeah. Yeah. Good luck.
Yes. Okay, so alone but not lonely is also something I wrote about his character. There is a quote. This is a Bukowski quote. I'm never in such good company as when I'm by myself. So that is Bukowski quote. It's not in this movie, but that does kind of capture the character itself. It's like showing that like he just really does prefer being alone, and you don't really see a lot of loneliness in his character. I will say that. Like at no point is there is one part where he seems a little bummed when Wanda goes out with Eddie.
Frank Stallone.
Yeah, when Wanda goes out with Frank Stallone, he's a little bummed there. But throughout the rest of the movie, you really do not get the vibe that this man is tortured really at all internally or feeling like he's lonely. So,
well, birds of a feather flock together, right? And I think that's kind of like the
that is true.
The endearing part about the bar life, right?
Yeah.
Like why people go. It's like, okay, well, no one here is going to judge me. I might go home and my wife might say, you know, what are you doing at the bar all day? But when you're in that bar, nobody there says anything bad about, you know. I wanted to read some quote. We can keep talking, but there's some quotes that he says kind of over and over again. He recycles it away. And it's like something about like, do you like people? She says, like one of the first thing they're talking about. It's like, I don't really like people, but he's like, I don't really have a problem with them, but I don't really like it when they're around or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure about the quote in this movie, but I mean, it sounds like an extension of that Bukowski quote. So
yeah,
it definitely captures it perfectly.
And it's almost kind of like, I don't react to anything. It's kind of like, I don't really like it, but like I'm not going to say and like hold on to the fact that I hate people. Like that's fine, maybe I don't like them, but like I don't even
take
think
it
about
I could take it or leave them.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, that first bartender that's there is like the kind of only likable character, really. He kind of like, because he seems to really be like looking out for Chiaski a little bit. He's like, and you get the vibe that like potentially this guy parties too, like because he'll take a shot here and there, but he's not like he's sober enough to like kind of keep the bar going. But I also love, and we haven't talked about this either, the character who's like talking about the blowjob in like the very beginning of it, and the guy's like kind of in the back room.
Oh yeah, the house prostitute basically.
Yes, yeah, and like I love how like there's no filter on that. Like when she's talking about it, she says something like, I can really something like it's a totally like raunchy phrase. Like I can take down the paste or something. She says. And I'm like, holy shit, man. You know?
Pretty raunchy.
Yeah.
There is a character actor that shows up in the bar. She's in a couple scenes at the beginning, but Sandy Martin. She's one of the bar patrons. She's Mac's mom from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So a younger Sandy Martin. She doesn't have a whole lot of lines, just a couple, but you definitely see her. Once you notice it's her, it's like it looks exactly like.
Is
Mac's
she the
mom,
one
so.
who's like just like constantly like kind of judging everybody from like her bar stool that you see every
No,
once in a while?
it's not her. Yeah, it's the difference. She does a couple of the bets at the beginning when the two of them are fighting.
Oh yeah.
She's kind of in the background, has one or two lines, but if you notice her, that's definitely Mac's mom, and also Napoleon Dynamite, which I kind of noticed a little bit more. So
Incredible.
she fits. She looks the part perfect. So
What is
I could definitely see them being like watching this movie, like that's got to be Mac's mom right there.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What is the do you know that much about that character actress who's like sitting there just constantly judging all of them, even though she's sitting there like drunk as well?
I don't. Yeah, she's just
there's
kind
so
of
many
the resident
characters.
miserable drunk that's just hanging on.
And then also I was gonna say there's another person that shows up that I was like, wow.
I think so it looks like it's Roberta Basson. I'm not seeing too much.
Name.
Looks like she did a couple episodes of Shameless, but Barfly's at the top of her IMDb, so nothing too much more popular.
Oh, I love this quote, by the way. No money, no job, no rent. Hey, I'm back to normal. That's great.
There's a little spin at the end. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, let's keep the quotes going. There is one, somebody asks Chiaski, who are you? He says, who are you? And he goes, the eternal question, the eternal answer. I don't know. I mean, and that just so captures like where he's at. It's like the eternal question is self-reflection and introspection, doing that. And his character is just 100% represents like, I mean, yeah, whatever it is. I don't know.
You know, lately with like Sean Penn being a little bit more in the news, having won the Oscar recently for One Battle, and then just like having a great role in that, and then you know, doing the press and stuff, and then the award shows, he's been seen like at the award shows smoking, you know, and there's been a lot of like people being like, is that fucking Sean Penn like smoking in the award show? Like, of course he is. And like, whenever Sean Penn is like, he is very unapologetic about who he is, and like he always has been. He's always been kind of that bad boy, you know. But I love like kind of that you said that he was being considered for this role, because I could see Bukowski being like, he'd be perfect and not giving a shit. And also, I think he said something recently about smoking where he's like, look, like, I know it's going to kill you, but I love it. And you got to have something to love. I can't remember the exact quote that he said, but it was like, you know, that's kind of the thing. It's in this movie, they're drinking and stuff, but like they love it and they don't care, you know? And sometimes it's like, when you ask that question, like, who are you? It's like, I don't know, but like, this is who I like to be right now, you know? And it's like, it's such a weird thing because people look at that life as like very seedy and you're not doing anything with life. But these characters in here don't seem to really care about any of that, you know?
Yeah. And that's the ongoing question with like all this is like whether or not it romanticizes that lifestyle, or whether or not it romanticizes self-destruction. You know, I don't have the answer, but like that's kind
right
of
now,
the push and pull of these characters and a lot of Bukowski's writing in general. So.
Right now, if you were to talk about like some rock stars who have recently passed away or something, it would be like Keith Richards or something, you know, and then Ozzy Osbourne just passed away. Like every time you go back to think of him, it's like, can you believe how much fucking drugs that guy did? And he was still alive. And what, you know, that's what people say. That's like what they like to build the story around.
Right. I mean, those are professional rocks. Those are professional partiers. So I think it's easy to kind of point to them as the outlier, the anecdotal resident, as in most people are not going to have a similar trajectory if they're partying that hard for years.
I went the other day and hung out with a friend who's kind of like in a little bit more of like a like around celebrities and stuff like that. And so we were having dinner and a couple of friends joined, and this one person ordered a like as unfiltered and unlike like the highest level tequila with a side of agave. And I was like, what? Like, why did you order it that? I've never heard anybody order it that way. And she was like, honey, I have to have all of my drinks pure and all of my drugs pure. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, yeah, give me like a past blue ribbon, you know? And they're like, oh, that's like, you're out for like the count, you know, the next day. And I realized like people who are in like a little bit of a more like, let's say a different tier than me that are making more money or something are definitely doing things at a different level of like, you know, they can afford to have these things be a little more pure, a little bit more, yeah, like you travel differently, right? You get to like go on like probably private planes and stuff. They call it like civilian life, you know, like I'm a civilian and these people are just like the better half of the world. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting like that because it's like we're all down here being poisoned by shit. Like alcohol is poison, but you can have it in a way that will like be a little bit more
high class poison.
Yeah, high class poison for lack of a better word. Yeah.
It was either Brave New World or 1984, but there's Victory Gin in one of those books, and it's
real like, though, isn't it? Didn't they make that?
Maybe now, but like in the story, it represented the two liquors that the elites drank, and then I forget what the people at the bottom drank, but what the elites drank was Victory Gin. It was just like this subtle way of saying like, this is the better alcohol because you're the winner, whereas this is the shittier alcohol because you're the worker loser. So
it's funny because like whenever you go to the store, you're just like, yeah, I just want to buy the alcohol that's like a little cheaper, you know? And it clearly like, you know, when it's on the lower shelf, it's like cheaper, but then I don't really think that there's that much of a difference, but clearly there is. So I don't know.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, there is, but also there's also kind of not. Like a lot of it is just status driven. You know, you're the fact that you're drinking the more elite drink is kind of what you're paying for a big part of it. So
yeah, totally. Like they were saying, like, yeah, Casamigos fucking garbage. I was like, I look at that as like maybe like one of the better tequilas. I don't know. I mean, I don't drink tequila anyway.
I was gonna say I haven't had tequila in 15 years, so I
fucking hate it. Yeah, so. I hate it. I hate it. It's like one of the worst. That and vodka, I can't stand.
I did used to love vodka. I haven't had liquor in general in 50 years. Did not enjoy drinking it ever.
You seem like a whiskey man to me, though. Back in the day, yeah, you liked whiskey.
I was actually more of the vodka and gin. I like that a little bit more. I haven't had them for over a decade, but that is kind of what I preferred.
Yeah,
my beard suggests whiskey. That is true.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Yeah, so, anybody who's watching right now instead of listening and can see you would be like, yeah, that guy likes Tullamore.
This beard has given me
options, Scotch, but yeah,
more has given me options for whiskey ads. So they might be out there somewhere. So.
Or a Jameson man.
Anyway, yeah, Scotch and water seems to be a drink, and I do love the bartenders. He'll pour the Scotch or whatever, and then he just has like a pitcher of water.
Yeah, he doesn't put any in. He's just like a little splash.
It's totally old school, but kind of trashy, but also kind of like elite. You know, for dive bars. Like this is at least it's not water from the toilet. I guess.
Yeah, it may have been though. You know, we didn't see where he got it from.
Yeah, so good.
Right. Yeah. So I was gonna say too, like this movie in general does have like a fun. And I like that you said it's kind of like you could look at it as more of a comedy because it does have a fun like through line.
I kind of have to watch it like that because even I am sometimes like this movie, nothing is going on. And so you kind of really have to vibe with it to enjoy it. And so me kind of taking a step back and viewing it as more of an absurdist comedy. But I don't know. Is at least how I enjoy it the most. So.
I mean, at this point too, in '86, I think Faye Dunaway is an Oscar winner. And why, you know, I don't know the story. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But like, why would she be interested in taking on this role? Clearly, she's very good in it, but I don't think I've seen her in like playing a drunk like this. You know.
Well, I mean, because he was pretty cool and popular.
Yeah.
When he hit it in the late 70s with Post Office, so throughout the late 70s and 80s, like that was a pretty hip thing. And the idea of him making a movie, I would imagine it was like a lot of famous actors and actresses would have been down with it. So
Yeah,
it's just
and
my guess, at least. So.
what he does appear in this film.
Yeah. So like when he meets Wanda, when he gets kicked out of the bar, Golden Horn, he goes to the other bar by himself. He sits down, orders a drink, and then I see Wanda and it pans through, and you definitely get a full glimpse of him, and it's clearly him just hanging out. It doesn't have any lines or anything, but definitely looks right in place with that. He fits right in. So
yeah, his face is like basically a canvas. It's like he's talk about a character.
Well, he's written about that. He had like crippling like acne in his youth, so that definitely left like permanent scars throughout his entire adult life. So
yeah, he's just again a character, but yeah, I'm sure he was drinking for real in that bar scene.
I think I saw an anecdote that when they ended up filming at one of the apartments, it ended up that he had actually lived in that apartment, and he or nobody else even knew it at the time. But he's just one day he's just like, "Hey, I used to live here," and it's like,
I mean, I thought about it like the art department, like dirtying up those walls in like Chiaski's apartment. That must have been like the most fun thing to do, and just like fucking make it look like trash, That
is one thing I do kind of love about it. He's almost just like leveling up it like a video game throughout this movie. You have his apartment, which is the shittiest of the shit flop house, and then he meets Wanda. She's staying at the place. He pays part of the rent end up, so he basically comes transient and ends up living there. And then she leaves, and then she meets Tully, and she ends up at her like super nice place, and he doesn't even want to stay there. So it's just like he's like this ongoing leveling up video game, even though he doesn't want to actually level up.
Yeah,
so,
he could like eventually
he just falls back.
Falls into something great, but he doesn't.
Yeah, and that is kind of what I love about So we get to the end, and they go back to the Golden Horn with Wanda, and then Tully shows up, and so he's got these two good-looking girls on either side of him, which is like such a great, writing tip. He's like, of course, this guy's going to have two girls fighting over him, so they end up fighting over him, and I think that is like peak humanity, having two girls catfight over you. But I kind of also like view it as like it's almost like a representation of like the two women as like being his two paths forward. Obviously, it's kind of reductive, but like sober and aspirational with the writing and the publishing side, or drunk and free with the Wanda side. So it's almost like their fight is representing like the internal fight that he has in himself, and like which way to go it is in life. So,
and then of course, who wins?
Yeah. Oh, well, sure. Yeah. Buys another round after Wanda whoops her ass. So.
And then he goes and does exactly what he's great at doing, fighting Frank Stallone, and roll credits.
Oh man. So one thing I also noticed, he really walks like a fucking monkey in this movie.
I just thought it was like an impairment because he's been, he's a drunk or whatever.
It could be either way. Mickey Rourke is choosing to like do this like simian kind of like fucking hunchback walk throughout the entire movie, and I love it. So it's a little over the top. Again, this performance is like good. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like, life-changing or anything. I just like where it fits in Rourke's filmography, leading from this, and then years later with the wrestlers we'll talk about. So.
Well, yeah, and I like that you want to do the double feature because it'll be fun once we get to that and talk about it, the similarities and just kind of go ahead.
I love the wrestlers so much, so I'm so excited for it. So.
My girlfriend and I think I talked about this on a few episodes ago, like had just seen it, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that, and I got to watch it with her and watch like how much she loved it, and it was awesome. Like when we were growing up and working in the movie store, Darren Aronofsky was a very new name. I mean, Pi was like a big one. And then I think we were working in and around the time that he made Requiem for a Dream. And I'll never forget, our coworker, Ben, just like saying that he was like a cheap film student making it. And look at all these years later, it's like he's one of the biggest names in cinema,
Yeah. The Wrestler is easily my favorite movie of Darren Aronofsky's. What do you think?
Yeah, have you seen Mother?
I liked it. I know you hated it.
Did I talk about this before?
Yeah, we talked. Not recently, but I remember you expressing your disdain for it. Is that where you're still at, or did you change your flip?
Still there.
Okay, that's.
I mean,
it was a one-time watch. I saw it in the theater, and I haven't had a desire to rewatch it. I just know that while watching it, I was like, I was in it, and I enjoyed it. So
I recall in one episode of like Bourdain's show, Bourdain had Aronofsky on and like had talked about how like misunderstood that movie was and stuff like that. But even so, as much as I love Anthony Bourdain, I'm not going back and watching that film ever again.
Nobody's forcing you, but
yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's right. I mean, I forgot he did The Whale. I never even finished The Whale, to be honest.
Oh, did you not like it?
I didn't dislike it. I, for whatever reason, didn't finish it, and I probably should. I do want to. I mean, I obviously love Fraser, but for whatever reason, I didn't. So I will have to go back to that.
Well, we could talk about it maybe next week, but I did like that film.
Yeah,
but I didn't really love Sadie Sink in that film, but I liked the film in general.
Noah, Black Swan, Wrestler, The Fountain, Requiem, Pie. Okay, yeah. So I mean, yeah, The Wrestler's easily at number one for me for this movie. So
yeah, The Fountain. Did you see The Fountain?
I did when it first came out, and I've listened to the score since then, but I haven't seen it since then. I don't remember too much of that.
Black Swan.
I saw it a couple times. I remember liking it quite a bit. And that's the thing with
I love Black
It's
Swan.
like I like all of his movies. I love The Wrestler. I just haven't rewatched many of them.
Yeah,
I definitely only saw Requiem once, and that movie is one of those movies that like images still stick with me in that movie.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing. So. Is like even that's like why I won't watch Mother again. Like I can't unsee some of that shit, you know.
Which I will say is about as high praise for artists in general. It's like if good or bad, if you make a mark on somebody, the worst thing you could do is make a boring movie. I mean, I've said it before.
There's no doubt about that. So, I won't argue that.
Yeah. Okay. Barfly. We talked Spaceballs Billboard, which I loved. I can't believe they're actually making a Spaceball sequel.
I thought because I heard about it and it's been like some hype, and I thought maybe it came out and I missed it, so it's still not out then, huh?
That's totally possible in the world we live in now. So.
Yeah, I know.
But
I saw something.
I think it is real. Where it still sounds like a joke with the fact that it's happening, but I guess it is happening. So you saw something.
I saw something recently where, like, I think it was on Michelle Obama's podcast. She was talking with Spielberg, and Spielberg was like, "Yeah, I talked to Barack about like, and he really wanted to like get an advanced screening of the new movie, and he said that like Barack was like, listen, if you don't, I'm going to watch it on my phone, and I'm going to watch it like not even like standard, you know." In the widescreen format, I'm just going to watch it like straight up. Yeah, it was hilarious. You know,
it's a good thread. I want to see Disclosure Day. If I had the powers to see it right now, I would. So
yeah,
okay, that's funny. Any other items in the Barfly? There was one scene that kind of stuck out with me. It just represents. So when he's about to leave with Wanda. Leave with Tully. He hears a couple fighting next door, goes to check them out. She ends up yelling at him. They end up fighting. He ends up stabbing the guy, and then they just leave. It's just like it's just an endless stream of chaos in this guy's life, because that scene doesn't really exist for any other reason of them just like having to leave. But it just represents nothing. It's just like endless chaos.
There's a few things in there that I was like, what does this mean? And maybe nothing. But one of them is like that it happens when this new kind of person comes, and any normal smart person would be like, whoa, this is my meal ticket. But instead he makes her wait and goes to like potentially get fucking shot or killed in the next room to like, but also like sort of like being a savior to like help this woman. And then when he does get there, the woman's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, how do you know? This is love. This is what love is. And then you're kind of like, oh, some people do like work when they fight like often, but obviously it's very extreme and you think he's going to kill her. But man, that is a very volatile scene.
And it's the thing, his life, the baseline for his life is volatile. And that's kind of where he sees the most amount of freedom. So at least
and why that woman didn't get up and run after that, I have no clue. But instead she invites him over to her swanky pad and has sex with him.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple of scenes. They get back there, he downs the whiskey, and the camera's just on her, and she's just like she's like doe-eyed for him. So it's like, I mean, it's a movie, obviously written by Bukowski, so of course he's going to have all the female characters like him, but he does represent the scumbag character that women get all the feels for. So,
there is also this classic, like, perfect part when he first meets Faye Dunaway, and then they are back at her place and he gets into bed, and then like the lights go out and stuff like that. And you're kind of like, oh, okay, he's just like, they're going to pass out in bed or whatever. And in the morning, she's like, ha ha ha, she's brushing her teeth and stuff like that. And he gets up and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, you don't remember? Like, and he's like, oh, yeah. Like they just kind of skip through it. But it's like, because they were so drunk, like fucked, but he doesn't remember.
Here's my question. Did they fuck?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, she's saying that she thinks they did.
Yeah.
He doesn't know, but neither of them really know.
Because, I mean, there is a reading of this character. He's like too drunk, too fucked throughout the entire movie. So you could believe it as this character. He's not even getting to the point of sex because he's so like oblivious, not oblivious, but like just so like denigrated of his own body.
But also with him, you don't necessarily see him sleeping. You see her sleeping a lot. You see her laying down a lot. With him, you look at him as like just a straight up functioning alcoholic, because you don't see him very much like plastered or anything like that.
No, he's just charming enough to get all the ladies. It's great. Yeah. Oh, all right.
Start drinking more.
Mickey Rourke as Henry Chiaski as Charles Bukowski. All the layers. So it sounds like you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we move on, or any connections to the rest? One connection I thought I mentioned kind of at the beginning. So we see this character who's like ultimate pursuit is freedom, and like outside of the mainstream and kind of away from people. So Randy the Ram in The Wrestler is kind of the opposite of that. His pursuit and his addiction is the fame, is the audience, and kind of recapturing that fame that he once had. So I just kind of like how it's almost kind of like a mirror effect of the characters. So we can get more into it when we talk the rest of it. But that's kind of how I see it from.
Yeah, that's a great way of saying it. But yeah, I think I'm going to save anything and let it be fresh, because like, of course I've seen The Wrestler a billion times at this point, but I was going to say,
so you have watched it like a lot?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I wouldn't say a billion times, but maybe like 3 or 4.
No, I know what a billion is, so
yeah.
Trust me, I'm in the same boat with that one. So
yeah, I do love it. It's like a definite, like, if it's on, I'm watching it all the way through kind of movie. But yeah, I think I'm going to wait to watch that so I can kind of like look at it through the lens of like having just seen Barfly, and like looking at it as what are some of the similarities. And at this point in time, there could be a third resurgence for Mickey Rourke. He's kind of doing, I think, like B movies, you'd say, maybe, or like low budget movies at this point. But he's done it before. He could do it again. And this guy will be remembered in Hollywood as one of the greats, I think, even though he's had a very, very different career than most actors who are remembered.
Love it. We can wrap up Barfly. Let's look up his most recent entries on IMDb.
Oh, like what his last movie was? I know he did a movie with Thomas Ian Nicholas.
Oh, Rowan Gardner?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, because I know him just from music, playing music and stuff, and we became friendly and stuff, and I know that he's worked with him.
His most recent is Bring the Law, released this year. Looks like a cop movie. Directed by Scout Taylor Compton from Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Wow.
Okay, I did not see that going in that direction, but that's his most recent movie.
Let's see. Yeah, he's been working pretty steadily. I mean, even if you've seen these films or not, which I have not seen, I don't think any of these that we're looking at. But at the same time, this is steady. Oh, I never saw A Dame to Kill for Sin City, but it looks like he was in that in 2014. Probably
Yeah,
redoing the
we'll
Marv
definitely
character,
get to
right?
that. We'll definitely get to Sin City. I haven't watched that in a long time, man. I loved that movie when it came out. I was a huge fan.
And
I mean,
definitely
especially his segments. His segments were like the best.
also, yeah, remember Iron Man 2, 2010, The Expendables. He was kind of on a good trajectory there, and then for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, I don't really recall too many of these films, but maybe they're all great. I just haven't seen them.
This is just his Nicolas Cage trajectory, you know.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
doing all the work
right
that
now.
he can, doing all the work that he can, and bringing everything that he's got to whatever he's working on. So
I'm like
I'm
interested
all
in the
for it.
Spider-Man thing that Nicolas Cage is in. This like that's the noir spider.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
I know,
mean,
but
it's like it's an extension of one of the Spider-Man movies that came out, I guess. But yeah, I'm kept up on it.
but yeah, I don't know anything about it, but it looks cool and he looks cool in it. And I'm like, all right, action film, Nicolas Cage, sign me up.
Noir, no.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap up Barfly. We will get to Wrestler next episode.
Cool.
We'll do a little physical media.
Yeah.
So I've been sending you. So I got a Kino Lorber. Didn't even show it. Here's my Barfly DVD. I didn't even show it. So
is that old school from back in the day? I remember that being like one of those snap cases. So that must be semi-new, huh?
This is semi-new. Yeah, I ordered this in the last couple of years. I don't know. I remember when this is actually released though. But yeah, looked great on my end. So
yeah.
I got a couple movies from Kino Lorber on their sale, and this is apparently a movie that you've never seen, and that is Harry and the Hendersons, starring John Lithgow. So
yeah,
this was
my girlfriend was like, "You've never seen Harry and the?" It's like she has like an affinity for it from her childhood, and I showed it because I showed her the picture. You know,
that's so funny. Yeah, I was just sent it because it's Lithgow. We both love Lithgow, and it just represents this. What Hollywood kind of used to be. You could be a established, respected character actor like Lithgow, and then they would just put you in a family fun friendly movie starring Bigfoot. It was just like, yeah, that's what actors do.
Yeah.
You make a De Palma movie as the bad guy, and then you'll be in a fucking buddy movie with Bigfoot. And that's just how it went. So it was a fun movie. We watched it. We loved it when we were kids. So yeah, we kind of had the same experience. It was just like this goofy movie. And that kind of was my introduction to Lithgow as a child. So like watching him as I grew up and seeing all like the more dramatic roles that he did was always very fun. So
I mean, I think some folks would probably feel like their introduction, at least for our era, would be maybe in that Third Rock from the Sun, sitcom, which is kind of, again, it's like totally not any of those like killer roles that he's done in the De Palma movies.
But that's what makes him so great, is when an actor can be a psycho and in a comedy, not necessarily at the same time, or sometimes at the same time. If they can do both, it's like fucking beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
And then my other Kino pickup was the new 4K release of Mimic. It was Guillermo del Toro's first American film, actually. I remember liking it when it came out. It's not, amazing. It's just a fun 90s creature feature. And this has a new director's cut. So a lot of stuff that wasn't in the theatrical cut, a little bit closer to Del Toro's original vision. So pretty cool, fun pickup. Like I said, if you like Del Toro, good one to check out. But 90s creature features, I'm always down for. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 80s creature features through 90s, great.
I mean, any creature feature, but, me growing up in the 90s, a little bit of affinity to those two as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got for physical media.
Cool.
Anything else you watching this week? Getting up
to? It's weird because, there's got to be some stuff that I've been watching. My girlfriend has not seen Game of Thrones ever. And so we started watching that like 2 weeks ago, and she hasn't gotten super far into it. But like I had only seen the show like once, so I'm rewatching it, which has been fun.
I've never seen it either. I read the first book, but never watched the show.
Yeah, I remember at the time, like that George Martin, I think is his name, couldn't keep up because the show was just like going and doing so well that he couldn't like write fast enough. So like,
well, I know the last couple seasons were not directly related to books, and
Yeah.
from what I understand, most people didn't like the end of it. So.
I didn't like the end of it either. But yeah. Okay. So anyway, watching that, and then for the most part, we've been too busy. Like a lot of those like for your consideration events, like we try to go to a lot of those, but we're like no joke, been just so busy that we've had to cancel a few of them. Like had one for the show Task that we really wanted to go to tonight. I think we're going to cancel that because I got this podcast that we do. And then she's also got a bunch of stuff that she's doing. So we're just like, we've got to slow down a little bit. Because last weekend we went to Vegas and kind of rode alongside the Plain White Tees tour for like 2 shows, just to kind of like pick Tom up. My friend Tom was the singer of that band, and kind of like have it be like a road trip, so that it was like fun. You know, as we get older, we realize like we kind of want to go back to like some of the stuff we did as kids and just have fun doing that. So we met up in Vegas and we did the escape room, which was really great. Had the clown, you know, it was really like more like a haunted house escape room.
Oh yeah.
We did that, and then went and he has a friend who knows Diplo. So we were literally on stage with Diplo, like one person away from Diplo as he did his set, which was like, to me, like, you know, I'm not like, that's not like my vibe, but like it was still kick ass to be on stage with Diplo as he was doing this insane like dance party for everybody, DJ set at 1 a.m. to like 4 a.m. And got to go into like his room and hang out with him afterwards in Vegas. So it was a very Vegas themed weekend. And then saw the Tees play out there. It was great. Came back to Orange County, saw them played, and then went home. And since then, I've been trying to get work done, and it's been like really hard. So that's my kind of life lately. At least I got out and did something that didn't involve my work. So I'm happy about that. I feel like this year I've been just like go and working. And the main part of it, the end of this is that I just keep getting shit about not seeing Obsession. It's like, it's literally from every angle. So I thought I was going to log. The reason I started our episode like that is I thought I was going to log in and you'd be like, have you seen Obsession yet? You know?
Mostly men or women telling you Obsession. A healthy blend.
Actually, just my friends that are men. So yeah. But I don't know. I'm sure girls like it too. I don't
know. Yeah, man. Sounds like you're working ass off. You need to take a lesson from Chiaski.
Yeah,
chill the fuck out.
Just fucking go with it, right?
Are the Tees gonna get residency at Las Vegas?
I hope so.
That would be a sweet little gig for them.
I was gonna say for the only reason, meaning just like it sounds like guaranteed money. You know, like most people who do those residencies must get paid well, because that city. I'm not like a huge fan of Vegas, and don't gamble or don't have any money to do it anyway. But I don't really love how late things are. Maybe it's for a person more so in their 20s. You know,
I could 100% identify with you with that.
Yeah,
like, I'm the one who says concerts should be starting at 5 p.m. So
yes, yeah. But at the same time, like it's fun if you do like more of the stuff that's not the casinos and stuff.
Yeah.
And I have been kind of like coming around to it a little bit more for that reason. Like I'd love to see the punk rock museum that's there. I haven't yet. And every time I have gone to I saw a Titanic museum there like 10 years ago, and it was awesome. So there are a lot of things that I think I just didn't give Vegas enough credit for, because you just think of it as what you see in the movies, you know, the debauchery and late night stuff. But yeah, I had a good time.
I mean, when I saw Vegas Vacation in the theaters in the 90s as a kid, that's when I learned that it's a family-friendly place. So,
yeah, I barely remember that, but I remember the all-you-can-eat stuff with Randy Quaid being pretty funny.
Kind of an underrated vacation movie. It's usually most people's least favorite, but I think it's pretty decent. So.
Yeah.
Riot Fest lineup. I know your boy's there.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to be back for that this year, by the way.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Got my fingers crossed to like potentially be part of that for like an art installation. Been kind of waiting to hear about that. But even if not, like I think I might come back, because it's like I went every other year. And this year, of course, Morrissey is on the bill. And everybody who knows me and potentially people who listen to this podcast also know that Morrissey is the greatest singer of all time. So see him as many times as you can if you're lucky enough to catch him.
So somebody do a quote that's like, yeah, I don't really like his music, but I love his politics.
that's that's a very not popular opinion.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about his politics. That's one of the things that I don't dive deep into because it seems to be a real source of contention for most people who know Morrissey.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know much either, but like I'm just like, from what I understand, it's usually the exact opposite. So
it's weird because you know me, like I like to know everything about every person, and I do kind of for the most part about Morrissey, but I don't know much about politics. Like I did just vote yesterday in my primary here in California, but I did my best to just vote, based on what I know. But I don't like those politics are just it's just
what you know from TMZ is how you vote.
Kind of, yeah. Like whatever TMZ is telling me, I do think as verbatim,
Yeah.
But,
cool. All right. Well, if you do, it's pretty cool. I mean, Social Distortion, you got some awesome work with them lately. Bad Religion, Descendants, Iggy Pop, Elvis Costello, Pixies. So a lot more.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of reasons to come back, I think, in September. So I'm currently hoping to find some cheap flights and like maybe come back for that. But then maybe we could do an episode of this in person. I've always been saying that would be fun,
Yes, man.
Yeah, maybe we do it.
Just huddle up right here next to it. We can go through. We're just film an episode of us going through all these movies over here. So
that actually would be amazing. Like, that's your the Remainders Criterion closet.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Cool. All right. I mentioned I saw Backrooms. I liked it. That was the only movie in the theater that I've seen lately.
Which movie?
Backrooms. That's the other one that's been doing really well. The indie horror movie alongside Obsession. So a little bit higher budget, but it's still from like this young YouTuber, first time director. Pretty fun, surreal, kind of Lynchian movie. Not super deep, no pun intended, but like very cool visuals. Like you could tell this guy likes Lynchian visuals and like just applied them to this horror movie about, I mean, it's super simple. It's this guy, it's this alcoholic who's living out of his furniture storeroom that he works at, and he just discovers this entire cave of back rooms into like almost like another dimension. So it's just it's just a surreal, fun movie. And it was, again, with that and Obsession, both of them beating Star Wars is just, it's a pretty big deal that these low budget horror movies are dominating the once great Star Wars franchise.
I think that probably gives a lot of people a lot of hope, if you would ask me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That's why it's important to focus on it. So
yeah. All right. Well, you want to hit up our song of the week and then call it and get to The Wrestler for 2 weeks from now.
Let's do it. You want to go first?
Sure. It's basically just on my walk today. I tried to get a walk in really quick before we did this episode, and this song came to mind for whatever reason, and I don't believe we put this on the playlist before, but I love this song because it looks like the Thermals, which is a band that I liked a lot. Again, kind of an indie band back in the day, and they hadn't really done anything in a while, and it looks like they have a new single out. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, like I got to check it out. And then it got me thinking about some of their songs that I haven't listened to in a while, right? Yeah, it looks like they haven't done an album maybe, looking at it here, maybe since 2006. No, they did a record in 2016, then 2013. So I haven't done a record since 2016. But anyway, they got a new record out now. And or they're going to have a new record out, and it looks like this album, the song that I'm picking is from their 2006 record called "The Body, the Blood, the Machine." And I remember this record being like really like kind of biblical. It talks about like a lot of kind of like, I wouldn't say in like a way that is spiritual or anything like that, but like there's a lot of like Bible references and stuff. And the one I'm picking is the first song off of it called "Here's Your Future." And I love this song. I think it's great. It's got this really cool line. It's like, God said, "Here's your future. It's gonna rain." And I just love that. Like just as like an idea of life. Like, here's your future. It's gonna rain. You're gonna get poured on. So that's my song because I was listening to it today and I really love that tune and I don't think I've added it before.
No, yeah, I don't think we've had any thermals. Probably not that song, especially.
Do you know the band?
I do know the band. Yeah, I remember listening to several of their albums. I probably did listen to the Body of the Blood Machine at the time of it coming out because I definitely know that cover. So I remember hearing that. Haven't listened to them recently. Haven't kept up with them, but I remember enjoying their stuff. And I feel like I almost went to go see them one time, but it didn't happen. So.
Yeah, they toured a lot too, which is, potentially like knowing them and knowing the name back then, you probably were in town a lot. But look at this, 2006, 10 songs, 35 minutes. Like, yeah, they're quick bangers, It
was a beautiful era of the indie scene in the mid 2000s. Indie rock was a beautiful thing. So
yeah,
love it.
What do you listen to?
That'll be a good throwback. Yeah, we'll check out those first albums, catch up on the latest ones. So I picked a song from 1987 to coincide with Barfly. So just because, this is how my brain was working, just felt like picking a song from the decade. So
yeah,
Lizzy Borden is a metal band that I've only kind of recently gotten into. Super underrated, kind of like a hair power metal from the 80s. They did some songs in this hard rock horror movie, Black Roses, which I've only seen clips from, but I've heard the soundtrack a couple of times, and awesome stuff. And Lizzy Borden, like I said, just kind of like one I've been listening to more of their catalog. Super fun band from the 80s. Check out hair metal. Me Against the World is the song that I'm going with, and that's off Visual Lies from 1987. Me Against the World, I hear it and I'm like, at least the title and the lyrics sound like a Scissors song. So that's what makes it kind of fun. So it's got the punk rock vibes on top of the hair metal. So
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, exactly. I would never put any words in your mouth, but Me Against the World just generally sounds like something that TLB or the Scissors would be putting out. So
cool. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear the pick. Everybody who's listening may know that we have a great playlist going. We call it the Remainders Jukebox playlist, and it's on Spotify. And then, I guess this is going to be episode 96 that we just did. So we're inching our way. We are now on the better side, closer to 100 episodes of this podcast. And as people say, if you've listened to us one time or all 95 times so far, we really appreciate that and love the fact that we get to talk movies all the time. We tell this story on most episodes, but we used to work at a little great movie store called Suncoast Video back in the Yorktown Mall, and Patrick actually hired me, and that's how we became friends, and that's how we chose to continue the conversation about movies after those doors closed a long time ago, and it has been awesome. So you can tell a friend about us. You could always rate us online, and it helps people find the episode. And go back and listen to some of those older episodes if you want, and keep us in your podcast coffers.
Beautiful HR department over here from there. I love it.
Like and to subscribe.
It's beautiful. I support everything you just said. And yes, our Suncoast days are golden, and I love that we're keeping them going. So, I
mean, at some point, you kind of look at this and you're like getting to 100 episodes that you just say, like, who gives a shit if anybody likes it or not? Like, this has been something we've consistently done through a lot of life shit. And if anybody was to ask me, I've done a lot of things, I think, artistically, but if anyone was to ask me what my favorite is, it's this. It's kind of like in the Barfly thing. It's like, we're not doing it for any other reason other than this, like, we really enjoy it. And this is sort of like our lives, who we are. We love movies, So I'm not really thinking of anything other than just talking to you from week to week. So if it connects, I hope it does. That's great. But we're still going to do it past 100 anyway.
Couldn't agree more. Took the words right from my mouth. I love it.
All right. Well, I'll see you for The Wrestler in 2 weeks.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Have a drink in the meantime.
Will do.
See ya.